More action, more adventure, less management, less logistics. Ladies and gents, this is the Boston Whaler 365 Conquest. It's a boat like this that will allow you to run around and do your awesome day boating. You can quite confidently head out into big swells and do some ocean crossing, not ocean crossing, but some ocean boating, should you choose. You can also do all of your fishing or activity day boating, and then when you're moving on to your other activities in life, you can just pack the thing up and forget about it because it's outboard powered. And as you can see, logistically, getting into places like this, come in closer and have a look, it's totally possible. So on what we can now argue it is a sizable boat. There's a lot going on here. The first point worth making for those of you that aren't familiar with the Boston Whaler, these boats are virtually unsinkable. So the way they have been designed with an inner foam for flotation, added flotation, does make them, if you were to have an accident, you're not going to sink. So bear that one in mind. You can go into more detail on the Boston Whaler website. I know that is an important safety feature for some of you who are looking at boats, because you can essentially, it's your ultimate lifeboat. But these things, from a quality perspective, they're right up there. So yeah, if you're looking for something to move into after your bigger boat because you want less complexity in life, or if you're looking for something to keep for a long time, or if you're looking for something that you can rely on, you could put a boat like this in all of those categories. So today we're going to be doing a detailed tour. My name's Dan Jones. Welcome to Dan's Boat Life, and welcome to sunny Queensland. Winter is on the way. You wouldn't know it. It's actually autumn, but it's a, oh, I shouldn't swear. Sorry, it's a stunning, absolutely stunning day today. But come in close and let's have a look. I really want you to get an appreciation. We've deliberately taken it in close to the beach for you to have an appreciation and for you to understand what is possible with a design like this, because you absolutely would not be doing this with an inboard, multi-level flybridge or even a big sedan style boat, because it's logistically impossible and it's just going to be too hard. We have got the twin V12 600 horsepower on this boat. So if you want to see how it drives and what it performs like in a whole variation of conditions, we'll be doing that in the very next video. You'd be very welcome to join us. It comes standard with the triple rig. So talk to your dealer, watch these videos and understand what your mission profile is and whether the triple rig or this engine setup suits you best. That's going to be a question hopefully we can answer for you or you can answer for yourself by watching this content. But this design, the Conquest design, it's full protection. So we've got wraparound glass. It's a proper cabin boat. We have two beautiful beds downstairs. We have a toilet and a separate shower, generator, gyro, air conditioning. So it's everything that you would expect on a larger vessel, and it's fitting into a smaller package. And underway, particularly with the power that we have available on these motors, it performs. It's quite sprightly. I'm not going to say it's a little speedboat, because it's not. You are dragging around quite a lump of a thing, but it's got the ability to really get up and go, cruise at quite fast cruising speeds, and top speeds. Well, we nudged on 50 knots down tide today, but we did see it. So that's hauling. That's absolutely hauling. So essentially, proper offshore hull design. We have enough flare to displace the water, but we are protected in there behind the helm. But they are a deep V hull shape. Underwater, we have all the underwater lights. We've got the sounders, everything that you would expect on a boat like this. And obviously fold away swim ladder, but I'll just quickly point out before we get there, we do have the engines fully trimmed up, but you can walk across when the props are in the water, so not in this state, but when they're in the water, you can still cross the transom and reach the port side swim platform should you desire. We've got a pull-out swim ladder or swim shower just here. That's the swim ladder. I'm getting my words mixed up. So we've got the engine flush operation just here. We've got the courtesy lights. This is the kid and doggy door, and that will also stop any water coming on board if you slow down too fast. Diesel in, that is for the generator, because we do have a genset on this boat. Come on board, and then you guys can appreciate some of the shade we have from the shore shade. These are really good systems. It actually deploys inside to the T-top, so it's kind of hidden away. It's quite stylish when underway, and it's super useful. You can still have this deployed at moderate speeds. I wouldn't have it out at 50 knots. That doesn't seem to make sense. But if you focus your attention on this part of the boat, we've got the Barbie station. So this is an option. It comes standard with a fold-out lounge, which is going to be like this, but bigger and out back. Okay, so basically what's going on, we've got the live bait tank just in here. Come and have a look. So that's on port aft, and then when we move from here, we've got some rod holders down back, 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got your shore power inlets after that, your town water in, and some ventilation and aft cleats, although they're not totally necessary because you have more cleats which can go through fair leads just there. But the Barbie station incorporates really big drink holders, so you could probably have a wine bottle in there, large drink holders, big sink, proper Barbie. Let me just open that up. That is on a strong hinge, so see how it's not moving, so it's not going to come down and slam on your fingers. So you can actually have that in the up position. You've got the heat plate just there, and then we've got one of multiple fridges. So this is our primary fridge out back. We have another one as we make our way in, and more downstairs. Multiple drawers. Just pay attention to the construction. These are all hard plastic. That is going to last, so we're not putting any timber out here, which would be technically a bit of a boo-boo because it's not going to last. But because it's Boston, this thing will. So we've got teak fitted into the cockpit out here. It's kind of like you do you, depending on how you're going to use the boat. But this one's been fitted with teak in the cockpit, back deck, and then we're going forward on the GRP. But have a look at this dive door, and I'm actually going to close it again because we didn't notice this morning. We opened it and we're like, where's the dive ladder? Where's the dive ladder? We don't know where it's stored. It's right there. So it's actually a very sensible spot. You just have to lift it up, and then you can detach it, and they fit in these same mountings in here. So you put the two big ones in there and it slides forward like so, and then you can release the rubber strap and deploy all 4 steps. And just look at the size of these big stainless steel hinges. Properly well done. Okay, you don't see that on all boats on my channel. So heavy, well constructed, nicely done. We've got drink holders, we've got rocket launchers. That's a fair lead again, which can go down to this cleat here. And this, if you're tough on your feet, you can pull yourself up with that handle. That's what that's designed for. And then you can just get it out of the way when not in use. And we've got shore power controllers. We've got evacuate some water. If we're taking some water on deck, it's going to drain out through there, through the scuppers. We've got speakers, a lot of speakers on this boat. They're actually dotted all the way around. We've got our outrigger weights can be stored there. This seat, when you're in fishing or sports mode, can be stowed. And I suspect a lot of you guys are going to be coming from larger motor yachts where you did have a cockpit arrangement like this, and you're going to use it in this function. So people are going to sit around, and so if you are having large groups or you're doing a raft up situation, this becomes a big social area. And to facilitate that, we actually can just flip this across. Oh, it's super strong. Okay, and then if you first look at it, my feet are struggling, but they've thought about that because we've actually got a footrest. So now, if you're observing the fishing, or if you're in social mode, or just enjoying these views, nicely done. That all works really, really well. You can actually option this with another pull-out seat, which comes out of this location. It's currently a storage drawer, and then there's also a backrest cushion on the face just there, but we also have this second deep storage drawer. You can never have enough storage on boats, so that's super handy. So your kill tanks or storage boxes located on port and starboard. So we've got 2 fenders in there and the boat's lines. Same again on the other side on starboard. You've got your freshwater and raw water just here, and then access points as required through there. And under the floor, I'm going to come back to this later in the video. We've got access to the genset, to the gyro, and all of your systems. We'll get back to that later in the video because I want to keep this rolling. So I'll just close this dive door. It's great having that, giving you good access to the water, and also just picking up guests. You know, it's not always safe or logistically possible to get someone on the transom. That makes, if you're boarding older people, that makes the job way safer and quite easy from the skipper's perspective, which you'll see in a second, because these really big opening windows give you excellent connectivity to the side decks, so I like it. Big bucket there, storage. You can probably put some knives and various bits and pieces in here. And more storage. You can actually see my shoes, but I'd say that's probably for barbecue utensils. Seems to make sense. And then we actually have a small galley prep area in here, but we're going to get back to that because I want to walk around the foredeck before we do that. So if you want to get up on the roof, this would be one option. Boom, boom, boom. You can absolutely stand up on the roof. It's super solid. We do have roof racks. So if you are in party mode on this boat and you wanted to take out a huge foam mat for everyone to float around and have some separation from the sharks, you can store it up here. Also your surfboards and your other items, and then just chuck it in the water as required. Access forward is quite easy because you're just going like this, boom, 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 and you've got plenty of handholds, which is useful. As you can see, we've got courtesy lights, so you're going to see that at night time. And then you've got water in and petrol in for the petrol tank is just here. And then if you see these press stud markers on the glass, we can put external mesh covers to keep the UV load down on the inside of the boat, because we do have a little bit of wooden trim on the inside, which we want to keep protected as much as possible, particularly in Aussie sun. But again, if you're coming from a big boat and you are used to the stability of a big boat, you're still going to be comfortable on this making your way forward. That's good. This works. And the passageway up the side is sufficient. Midships cleat just there, and then loads of space on the foredeck with the option to have a sun lounge. So that's possible. And then again, you just need to decide what mission you're going to apply to the boat as to whether that's relevant to yourself or not. But if you do get the sun lounge, you can just have a cover that goes over it, so you don't actually need to take it off at the end of the day each time. That's for emergency access, but it will also give you ventilation because it faces forward and will catch the wind on anchor. Obviously not in this situation because we've got we've deployed onto the beach. Now anchoring's pretty simple on this one. We can operate it from the Helm as we did today, but you also have the possibility to just use this controller here. It's a quick windlass. That handle down there is for releasing the clutch, so you can control it from here. That's your safety, but we have a second one, which is literally you just use the snap shackle, put it on the chain, and then secure this line to the cleat here. So that's what we do with that. We've also got a wash down, we've got a light for this area. And another thing I want to point out, this is the case for all Boston whalers, but it's not the case for most other brands. The finishing and the level of detail that they go to on these Bostons, on the underneath and the inside of hatches, let me just show you down in this anchor locker, the level of detail that they go to on these things, it's everywhere, it's noticeable, and it's quite pleasant. So basically it's just a more expensive construction. So most boats, you're going to see the gel coat and the nice shiny stuff up here. You're going to open this and you're going to see flow coat, or you might even see raw fiberglass depending on which brands you see on my channel. And look, that's okay, but it's just not as nice as this. This is a really, really nicely finished boat, and it's great to see. So these cleats for picking up moorings, securing the boat, that's your bow access. We can obviously, or we can release this pin and then flip this bar out of the way if we were doing a bow pickup or deploying people off the bow. So that, I know all my mates in Europe are going to be doing that, so that's relevant to you. Couple of windscreen wipers, they got the wash function. Your navigation lights are tucked in on either corner, just here and here. They're LED, and then you've got your horn up on the roof. You've got your spotlight. The only thing, it's not much you can do about this. It's spotlight in that location. It is going to have a little bit of reflection on the bow as opposed to having one all the way up on the bow. But if you have it all the way up on the bow, it's going to get salt water in it. So it's a bit of a compromise either way, but just be aware of that. So you may just have to adjust it to watch your reflection. You've got a manually operated sunroof, which we'll see again from the inside, and that one opens up like that. So instead of sliding back, that's going to allow us more real estate on the roof to mount toys or solar panels, okay? Because if you had a sliding glass roof, we then have to sacrifice that real estate just there as opposed to this one which hinges up. So it's just a consideration. You've got your anchor light on the center line and your VHF white aerial. Both of them will fold down. I know all my mates in Florida need to drop that down to get under bridges, so that's possible. And then that's just a TV aerial, and those are GPS aerials. So we'll come down the port side, and whilst we do, I want you to pay attention to the window. Like it's basically a door in terms of the size. Look at that. So we'll touch on that in the next video when we go for a drive, but from an operational perspective, you could be bringing the boat alongside and have the stern line secured, starting to lose the bow, and just reach in the window, come around here, and you could just do a little tickle up on the bow thruster or the joystick by reaching through that window, and you could literally get in and out. It's so big. So I like that. I'm a big fan of that design, and it's super easy to operate. But we'll show you in a second because I want to finish here. And this is some of the nice timber trim, which I'm a fan of, and I like the fact that it's protected from the sun. So it's putting the nice things that require a little bit of extra, but have to be a little bit more delicate in our Aussie sun, out of the sun, so we can still appreciate them. We don't have to maintain them. Okay, so you can start your day here. The isinglass is going to basically enclose this whole area. It does have a bit of a door where I am, and the difference between isinglass and clears is that it is glass quality vision throughout. So you can still go boating with the isinglass in place. So if you're in a tropical or a cold place and you want to control the environment with the air conditioning, that might be up to you. Or if you're in a place like we are here today, we can just have it all open. So you do you, essentially. We've got our panel in a conveniently located place. Everything's in English. It's all easily marked. Pretty no nonsense. Courtesy lights in obvious places, so you're not going to fall over when you come on board. And then, as I mentioned before, we've got this cute little prep station with a second sink just here, drink holders. We do have a little bit of a fiddle back here to stop things sliding, and then a second fridge. That is really powerful air conditioning. You can see the 240 power plug, or 110 if you were in America, just in that location, and more highlights for the timber, which are really, really nicely done. So that's lovely. But we also have some button operation, which is actually, one of them is for this location. So right now, this area is in eating, social, saloon mode, I guess you could call it. We can fold this in half and reduce the size if you want to do that. You still have drink holders. So with that open and closed, we've still got the drink holders just there. But we can drop this table by pressing a button here. This thing will drop down. There is a cushion located downstairs on the bed. and then it infills this area and turns the whole thing into a daybed. So it becomes potentially a climate controlled daybed area if you wish, or you can have the side window open and utilize it in that function. And we still have underneath this table, by undoing that little latch there, we then have access into another storage space below. So there is storage everywhere on this boat, and it's been cleverly done. We've got another power point and even some grab handles just here. So if you were bashing through a seaway and you just wanted something to hold on to, you've got possibilities all around. But that window slides super easily and it's fantastic. And then in terms of operating this just here, you just do this handle, you pull that, and then the whole seat, did you see that? So the whole seat base is moving. So that moves like so, and it's now creating space here for when you're underway. And you can even potentially use this as a bit of a footrest, but you have another one here, courtesy light. You got the glove box just tucked in here. There is some USB power points in there for charging. We've got our third multifunctional display on this side, so you can basically operate as navigator from this side, but you can also run all of the boat's systems. We've currently got the Boston Whaler systems. Essentially all of your lights, your switching and your gauges can be done electrically should you wish. More drink holders, speakers, and some foam up forward. And this is also AC outlets, but we have more AC outlets dotted around because we got that one there, and then we have another one overhead just here. Okay, so that can be pumping down on the navigator, and then the skipper has got multiple options with these vents just here. So the whole climate control thing can be well managed, and if you just want natural air, you can actually, by using these buttons down on your right hand side behind the throttle, you press those and these vents will suck some air in, and they're less likely to take any water if you're in a seaway because they're in the high position. So you're most likely going to stay dry by keeping them open, or you can just revert back to the AC. So it's pretty cool. So anyway, let's focus our attention on the Helm now, because it's clean, it's ergonomic, and it allows for good situational awareness through the design of this wraparound glass, through these big opening doors here and here, and through not too much complication with systems potentially confusing you. So you've got some of the necessary stuff: anchor lights, bilge pumps, horn, the windlass operation just here. But then you have two multifunctional displays. So depending on what you're doing, you might have one chart zoomed in, one chart zoomed out. If you're in shallow water, you might have it on the sonar. Essentially, you could have the engine diagnostics as well. So it's kind of like you do you. Your speaker control for the stereo is there, and then you probably don't have to come so close in. I reckon if you zoom out a little bit, everyone can still see that. And then you've got your spotlight, trim tabs, throttles just here, and then VHF, joystick. This was the vent operation, and then we can do defrosting, seat operation, your horn, and then that's your bow thruster. And we also have a drink holder for the skipper just there, and he's even got some wireless charging just underneath, so that can just go in there and your phone can go on charge, and another throw cubby hole just in there, and two really, really good footrests. So from an ergonomics perspective, you've got this possibility just here. The seat is adjustable, so it's electrically operated, can go forward and aft, and it's a proper American size Helm. So big blokes, I mean really tall people, are going to be happy on a design like this, because some of the European designs that you see on my channel will be a little bit more cozy at the helm. So if you are a tall person or a wide person, you're going to potentially struggle, and you're going to have issues with your line of sight. So you're not going to have that sort of problems on a boat like this. Simrad up here, and this is going to be the gyro, I'd say, just up there, and you've got possibility to mount more electronics, and these were the locks for that forward facing sunroof, air ventilation, just located up there. And if you need to just throw phones and charge them, you've got more charging points here and here, and you can distribute some devices and put them on the phone just there, so you can have them all on charge. Love the teak in here, and again, I like the no nonsense factor because it's out of the weather. So come downstairs, and this is going to be the interesting proposition or conversation for some of you guys who are coming from your big boats, because you're potentially looking at something like this and thinking, am I ever going to sleep on it? Is it just a day boat? So you'll have to make your mind up when it comes to that, but this is what's available to you. So come and have a look, because it's a bit of a multifunctional space. So whilst we have the island bed down here at the moment with really good views of the water, actually come in and look out that window. This is what you see from bed. It's really pleasant. The side windows, they are of a size and a length that they give you a good view, but they are of an appropriate height up and off the water line, that deploying fenders and pressing those fenders up alongside the dock are not going to damage the side window, because quite a few manufacturers have made a little mistake on that in the past, I've noticed, and we've ended up breaking glass, or they have, and so that can be a drama. So that's clearly not a drama on this one. It's been well thought out, and from my eye line in bed, you've got a very pleasant view, but it's not just a bed. So just quickly, we've got storage on either side, really well, strong hinges which are not going to slam on your fingers. Charging points, you can see I've got my drone battery still on charge. Drink holders, same again on the other side. We've got control for the stereo, and both people can step out of bed without bothering the other person in the middle of the night. But we've also got, if you just take this up, if you just press a button, here it is, just here, look at that. So now, simple function, take this cushion off, and you've basically turned it. I'll just finish, boom, boom. And then you can just put this table up. I'm not going to do it because I want to keep the video going. And you've got a bit of a lunch space. So depending on what mission you're applying to the boat for the day, this can be a downstairs hangout, eating zone, whatever you need. You've even got good and direct access into the bow thruster and the bow thruster batteries directly under there. But I love the multifunctional use of that space just there. We've got storage and more storage in here. Lights operation, that was the button that I was using. And yes, you can store all your rods up on the roof once you match these fittings with the size of your rods. So the head's fantastic. You know, this is just one of the areas where Boston is going to kind of stand on its own a little bit, in my personal opinion. All of this whole area just feels super high quality compared to any of the mass market brands. You've got this leather look strap, which is going to hold the shower door when you're in a seaway. You've got access behind me into the helm, and then you've got possibility for the water to drain there or there. You got a beautiful teak step, a space just here, a pull-out shower, but you also have an overhead rain shower. And then the vanity area has got loads of storage, so you can put some toiletries bags here, lots of space in there, and then you've got more space for loo rolls just in here, and that's your loo roll holder. And then this is a foot operation vacuum flush toilet. So that's going to be a freshwater operation, and it's just like on the aeroplanes. Hear that? So what that means is it doesn't smell. Okay, so it just takes everything, disappears. And instead of some of the macerator toilets that we see on older boats, where you press the button and it's going, making that noise and sucking up the raw water, which can then sit stagnant in your toilet bowl and get smelly, these ones don't. So just think about that, because I do suspect some of you are going to look at a boat like this and it's going to be your adventure platform through the summer, but then you might rack and stack it through the winter when you go and do other things. So if you're that person, this might be a boat that will suit you quite well. 240 volt board, 12 volt distribution, generator operation, possibility to go from ship to shore just here, breakers, more storage. We have a microwave under here. That's obviously going to be running off the gen set or the shore power, and another little kitchenette area. So we actually have a bin in here, and then that space is actually for storing this Corian sink cover, and then your cutlery in here. And this is the third fridge. So we've got 3 fridges on this boat. Drink holders for everyone back here, and this fiddle is handy for just throwing loose items so they don't roll away. Remember, we have a gyro, so we can avoid that. This is where I would hang my wet weather jackets. Okay, we got some of the boat's manuals in there for now, but it's a brand new boat, but that's the logical place. More storage in here and here, and then another bed. So this is where you store those cushions for that day bed that I showed you before. But this area is beautifully air conditioned. We've got AC coming out of there, nice timber finishings. I like all these panels because they're sound absorbing, so the sound down here is quite pleasant. And then behind these headboards, both of these will facilitate some soft bags. So if you needed to get your things off the bed, and there we go, because you wanted to sleep here, you could chuck them in there. So that seems like the logical solution. And underneath the floor here, you can get into the sump box when you need. But look at the floor, look at these stairs. It's all just been done so well. Grab holds everywhere. Everywhere you look on this boat, you don't open things up, get into the details, and then get disappointed. That's the impression that I always get on a Boston, and this one's just no different, to be fair. But this is a size, because you can go bigger than this, as you might have seen on my channel already. You got the 405. That's a big boat. It's a big boat, and so you need to ask yourself, how much management do I want to apply to my next boat? How many people do I have or need to drive it? And then decide which boat suits you best. Now, let me get my bag out of the way, because that's why I just chucked it down there to keep it out of the shot. This is the equipment space. So we've got the Jenny. The Jenny's on the centerline aft, just there, as you can see. Then we've got a lot of our power. So this is all of our batteries. This is the gyro on the centerline. And if you're coming down here, you can just step on this footpad here, and then you can step down here, and you can access all the through holes for the raw water. And we've also got fuel filters. I'll grab the camera and just show you so you can get a whole sight. So that's your fireboy system, your fuel filters, your raw water intakes, your bilge pumps. The gen set is just there. We have a blower, and then your batteries, power distribution, and coming back on the center line, we're looking at the gyro. So it really is just an equipment space, technical space that you need to access from time to time, or your mechanic or electrician will. Close that up. So that's the boat, guys. What do you think? Jump in the comments. I think let's sit out here in the sun, and I'll wrap this video. And then for those of you who would like to come for a drive, that's coming up next. Coming closer. Let's have a little yarn. 365 Conquest Boston Whaler. Who's going to see the most value? in owning a boat like this and running a boat like this. I've been thinking about this all day because we've been on board since 8 o'clock this morning. It's now 1 o'clock. Definitely someone who's had a few boats before will appreciate the quality that's on a Boston. Definitely someone who's looking for a safety margin. Obviously a boat that's got this foam filled and extra flotation, that's a real thing. I know it's going to benefit some people, and then you decide what mission you'll apply to it. But I think the possibility to potentially simplify your life, still achieve the same fun-filled, action-packed days, maybe stay on it, quite possibly not, and just use that accommodation as like a nap space throughout the day. So maximize your days, maximize your summers, invite partners and friends out on the boat who don't want to get wet, they don't want to get covered in salt spray, and they want to have some luxuries that perhaps you already had on the last boat, or they just have that expectation already. I think it's those people. I think it's the ability to, if you want, you could just go and rack and stack a boat like this. There's storage locations globally that'll accept a boat like this. It's not going to be on the top rack, it'll be somewhere down the bottom, but you can kind of forget about it. So if you've had that big boat that has the constant ongoing maintenance and associated costs involved with keeping a 50 to 60 foot boat in the water, and you still want the luxuries, you actually want better performance, because you'll achieve that on this, but you kind of want to simplify some of the running of the boat and do or pursue so many of those other activities which I see so many of you guys doing, then this is a perfect solution. It'll fish, it'll day boat, it'll overnight, it'll do so many things, and then it'll pack away and it'll leave you alone and your wallet alone, should you want it to. So if that's useful, let me know. Ask me what I didn't answer, or if you're owning one of these and you're seeing blokes in the comments trying to buy one and you're already an owner, feel free to answer their questions if I haven't already done it, because I've seen quite a few of you doing that recently in the comments. It's really useful. Can you please keep doing it? And on that, if you want to see how it drives, we're doing that next. So we're going to be going out into the ocean, ripping around the broad water and demonstrating some close quarters maneuvering in an effort to bring you along for what a whole day could be like and give you a bit of an insight into that. So I'll see you in the next video. Come from sunny Queensland. Love you lots. Thanks, guys.